Fellow wrestling fans, and it's once again that time of the month. That sounded funny, like somebody said in
Whoa.
a period.
Yeah.
Then it's once again time.
We're both grumpy and don't think either one of us can do anything right.
It's once again time for our monthly episode here on the WrestleNet Radio podcast discussing Smoky Mountain Wrestling. It is Pod on the Mountain. The brothers Max in here with you. I'm Nate. That's Aaron.
Hello, everybody.
And this week, or this month, we are discussing, of course, the month of May 1992 in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, including the Volunteer Slam event, which is their first big event. And there's some really good stuff in the month of May, and I wrote down there's some things that puzzle me in the month of May, but we will get to that for sure. Anything before we start? Are we doing a way back here?
Yes, we are. I have those.
All right.
And as per usual, I like to try to let whoever's on with us try to guess if they want to guess the songs of the movies. Do you want to try to guess the songs? Top two songs?
Let me see. This is May 92.
Yes.
Man. Okay, I know I do this a lot when we do these shows, especially during this time frame, just because maybe they weren't yet. Maybe they hadn't hit the Boys to Men aren't in the top, are they? At any point?
No, they are not.
May 92. I don't know. I don't have any guesses for this month. No.
Well, the number, like the top song, like the most dominating song of May 1992 was "Jump" by Criss Cross.
Oh, for those of you that don't know, Criss Cross wore their clothes backwards.
Yeah, and they want to make you jump. And they're putting their clothes on backwards. It's like kind of a pain, so it's probably what made them late for the school bus. That was another one of their. I missed the bus. That was one of their other Rat songs. And the number two.
Miggity, Mac Daddy.
You want to try to think of the second most dominant song of 1992?
May 92.
May 1992.
You know what? I am going to take a little guess. Let me take, because I'm pretty sure, thinking back to like 14-year-old or 13-year-old me at this time, I know at this time Under the Bridge by the Chili Peppers was a huge hit. So that's going to be my other guess.
Song.
Shit.
Not that song. It is Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
Oh, yeah. Wayne's World brings back Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes. And brought back Queen. Like, you know,
mm-hmm.
I don't know how old I would. Well, in 92, I would have been 9.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, to me, I'm a little, I mean, our parents always raised us on good music and stuff, you know, but like, to me, Queen was just another band that was in our mom's record collection, you know. And then Wayne's World hit you with that, and you're like, oh my god, it's a great song. And then you listen to more of it, and you're like, holy shit, these guys are great, you know.
Yeah.
But anywho, those are the top two songs: "Jump" by Criss Cross and "Bohemian Rhapsody" by Queen. I don't think you can be much different. And then, if you want to try, you can guess the top two movies. They're both action films.
Oh, never mind then. Because I was gonna say I was actually gonna guess Wayne's World because of Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't have anything. Because I know last time it was what, Basic Instinct and Beethoven or something.
Yeah. The most dominant movie of May 92 is one of my favorite movies, and is like one of my favorite, if not my favorite, franchise of action movies, and it's Lethal Weapon 3.
Okay.
Did
they introduce Joe Pesci in the second one or the third one?
The second, I believe.
You might be right. I can't remember. I know he's not in the first movie,
No, he's not.
but he's in one of the better comedic characters of the entire decade of the 90s.
Yes. Whatever you want, Leo, get. Now it's gonna bug me. Why you gotta do shit like that?
And you said the other movie was also an action movie. Let me think on that.
Yeah, it's action, and you could technically say sci-fi. Yeah, Leo shows up in Lethal Weapon too. I remember that now. But it's a science fiction action film.
Alien 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those movies did nothing for me.
I got one. Yeah, I'm not big on the alien. I mean, like I like them enough where I have the DVD collection or whatever, where once in a great while, maybe to watch them. But I'm a big sci-fi dork, and it's probably low on my favorite of sci-fi things. But I don't mind them. I don't like the newer ones, but I don't mind the first three. They're decent. But yeah, they're not the type of that series of movies isn't the series of movies where I'm going to watch it at least once a year. I might watch it once every couple of years, but anyway.
I think they're butt. But anyway, those are your top two songs and top two movies. So at some point, Ivan Koloff went and watched Lethal Weapon 3.
Ivan Koloff was a fan of Crisscross, though.
Yes.
The Mac Daddy.
He came in wearing his old man pants backward.
The Soviet Union make you wanna jump. Well, here we go. May 2nd, 1992 is our first episode of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. This episode is mostly just a recap of the tag team championship tournament so far. But it does have a match on it.
Which I guess.
Sorry. No, go ahead. I was going to say the final semifinal match is on this one.
I was going to say the recap thing isn't horrible because like you said, we're only doing these once a month. So it is kind of recapping what's going on so the people know.
Yeah.
But like you said, Bob Kyle and Dutch Mantel, they inform us that this is the tag team tournament highlight show, and they have Carl Styles is with Dutch Mantel. We get a recap of the Maulers versus the Rich Cousins, which the Maulers won. And then the Fantastics versus the Wild Bunch, which the Fantastics won. And then Koloff versus Jumping Joey Mags, and Nitro, don't call him Nightmare Davis, which Mags and Davis won. Well, that's where we're at with that.
Well, we're up to the semifinals, or the last semifinal match, of the tournament at this point, right? And that's the main event of this show.
Yes, which
it's the only first run match of this show.
Yeah. So between those recaps, Horner, Brian Lee, and the Fantastics hype their upcoming show in Beckley, West Virginia.
Yes.
They asked the fans to come out, and then we get another recap of the final match of the first round, which was the Heavenly Bodies versus the Batten Twins, which the Heavenly Bodies won that. And then they go over the Smoky Mountain. I don't mean to monetize or monopolize this, but
no, that's okay, because you wrote down more than I did, because I wrote down as I was watching it, this is generally just a recap show of shit we've already talked about. So now you have much more. You're always better detail at taking notes than me anyway. So
Then they go over the Smoky Mountain tag team, or not the tag team, the Smoky Mountain title tournament that's coming up at the Volunteer Slam, which we are going to discuss in a little bit. And then Bob Armstrong, they replay that promo where he's saying they don't do steroids in the Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Um,
Bullet Bob throwing shade.
yes, in the professional wrestling business, I'd be a little hesitant to ever make that claim, especially at this time. Then we get a recap of the sorry, yeah, where am I at here? Oh yeah. Then the Heavenly Bodies, they end up facing Joey Maggs and Danny Davis in a tournament match, and they then cut a promo saying that they're looking forward to facing either the Maulers or the Fantastics, which will decide the finals. It's going to be the Bodies versus either the Maulers or the Fantastics. And obviously, in that match, which is the only first run match on the show, the Maulers attack the Fantastics right away. It's a good back and forth match. But I don't think there's any surprise here that the Fantastics end up going over on the Maulers with a crossbody. I think it was Babby hit the crossbody on Rip and gets the pinfall on him. So that's the way that ended.
Yes, and there's a Bob Caudle interviews the Fantastics after the match about talking about obviously Volunteer Slam coming up because that's where this match is supposed to take place. And then Jim Cornette and the Heavenly Bodies also have something to say, but I wrote something down here, and you can tell me if I'm totally off base, and it's way out of left field, and maybe I'm wrong. At this time, Stan Lane was not like frosting his hair, right?
He had a wig.
He's just what's that?
He had to wear a wig.
He had to wear a wig? I did not know
Yes.
that.
Yeah. That's why they did the head, like he had like headgear and stuff.
Mm. Okay, well, I just thought
Does he have the head, does he have the headgear on yet?
I don't think so. No. Why did he have to wear a wig?
Because when he came back, like when he was gone, so he cut his hair.
Oh, see,
like if you ever see him when he's not working, he has like a crew cut.
Well, I know I've seen pictures of him nowadays, and he's got but no, I thought that was just he wasn't frosting his hair or whatever, right? But anyway, it wasn't dyeing his hair.
No, he had to wear because, like I said, when they brought him back, like he showed up, and Cornette's talked about it. He showed up, and he was like, "Jesus Christ, you can't be Sweet Stan and have like a crew cut."
Well, wig or real hair or whatever it is, with the style and color of hair that he has at this point in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, he looks like a Fuller. Like when I see him, I'm like, he looks like his name should be Stan Fuller. Anyway. Yeah, I did not know the wig thing. Yeah, that's interesting. Learned something new today, just like you learned Shrug Shadows.
Shrug Shadows.
That was before we went on the air. Read Titan Shrinking by James Dixon to get that one, folks. But yeah, anyway, I put down my note here says Stan Lane looks like a Fuller, and this is going to be the tag title match, supposedly at Volunteer Slam.
I can't find exactly when he started wearing the wig. I don't know if it's like right when he showed up, but yeah, he had like. Well, I'm assuming it's right when he showed up.
Right, because Cornette, that would have been Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So yeah, it was. That's why they went to like the headgear, and then they do like the Stan needs silence and all that. So yeah, I mean, it was just all ways to keep the wig on. But
it's only smoke and mirrors.
Yes.
But yeah, it was an effective episode to hype the tag team tournament, to hype the upcoming Volunteer Slam show. So nothing wrong with this episode. Kind of a filler episode, but it did have a first run match on it, and I did write down that the Fantastics and Maulers match was a decent tag team match as well. May 7th, 1992 is our next episode of the show. This one has a little more meat on the bone, of course.
Yes.
And we start the show out with our opening match, it is, and I actually was like, wow, I'm really happy to see this match happen. It is Robert Gibson versus Barry Horowitz. I was like, ooh, I get to watch Robert Gibson wrestle Barry Horowitz, and it was really good.
It was. And
I mean, there's nothing really happens in it, but it's a good 4.5 minute wrestling match between the two guys.
I like the fact that Jimmy Golden comes out and he gets on headset and he's talking about how basically he's like Robert Gibson, he's a good athlete and he's been around for a long time, and until now he's never really fought anybody or beat anybody of significance until he gets in the ring with Jimmy Golden. Jimmy Golden's going to be his first real challenges in his entire career.
In his entire career, yes.
Yeah. And he said he's beat up his brother and slapped his referee daddy around too. So, yeah. He's been beating up Gibson's his entire life.
Well, Robert Gibson does win this matchup between him and Barry Horowitz. After that, Bob Caudle has an interview with Jim Cornette and the Heavenly Bodies. On the upcoming match, supposedly again at Volunteer Slam between the Fantastics, the Fultons, as Aaron would prefer we call them, right?
Yeah. Eventually they're gonna start. They're gonna start doing that because I think that's what they're doing here, kind of. But anyway, like you go ahead.
Yeah, Cornette outs them pretty much for being from Chillicothe, Ohio. Talks about how their daddy and their mommy and their whole family's a bunch of trash.
Oh yeah, the daddy was an alcoholic and the mama would turn herself out for $10. So basically,
If what he say, if your mama said if you had $10 and 30 minutes or whatever, she'd give you the time of your life or something like that.
Yeah, basically his daddy's the Fulton's daddies are a drunk and their mama's a $10 whore, and then the Fantastics come out and they take offense, and Bob Armstrong, it turns into this whole big situation, and it all erupts into these teams wanting to fight right now. Well, the Fantastics basically challenging the Heavenly Bodies right now, and Cornette says he will if they put the belt. Like basically, Cornette, the only way he'll accept it is if they do the tag team title match tonight.
Yes. So, here's one of the things that I said was puzzling to me during this month of May. Bob Armstrong, the commissioner of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, says that this match isn't official. He'll sanction the match, but it's not official. So my question is, if it's not official, how can it be for the championships? It didn't make any sense to me. They didn't need to throw that in. I thought that was silly to say, I'll make it happen, but it's not official. But it's for the titles. Like, shouldn't it be an official match to be for the championship? I don't know.
I think there's a couple times where in the beginning of this promotion that there's like some confusion.
Oh yeah,
some odd things, Like I think maybe Bob might have misspoke, and it's not like you can like redo it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
and if that's the case, if he just misspoke, that's fine. But for me, as the viewer, you know what I'm saying? Like as the viewer, I'm going, well, I mean,
I know, I caught on to it.
If he would say it's not official, and then they just had a knockdown, as Bret Hart would say, a knockdown drag out. It was just a knockdown drag out. He's who I think of every time I say that expression. I always think of Bret. Knockdown drag out.
In the Survivor Series.
In the Survivor Series, had a knockdown drag out.
But no, I mean I agree, and I noticed it too, and that's where I was like, I think Bob might have just misspoke.
Well, the match begins, and again, it's for the tag team championship. So I don't know if Jackie Fulton is. I actually went into because I have the Torch archives I went into the Torch archives to see if they said anything about whether or not Jackie Fulton was actually injured or something, since they're having this match now and it's not going to be at the big show. Like, what was the reason for this? And unfortunately, at this point, Wade Keller is just covering Smoky Mountain like it's just another indie. So he's not, you know what I mean? Like he's not really getting into the minutia of things. So I don't know. I don't know what the reason
I
is
don't
for.
think he really was. I think I want to say that maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I
mean,
just don't. I don't know what the
I
reasoning was for moving the match off the big
I
show and
know
putting it
I
here.
know that I know those guys went to Japan a lot, especially Jackie. Like Jackie was like he actually had a pretty good. I'm not saying he was a main event guy or whatever, but he had a
Hmm.
pretty good career in Japan.
Hmm.
You know, he was one of those guys like they never really did much over here, but they liked him over there. You know,
They like the big hair,
I but I don't see him like why would they unless Cornette was like you guys can't I can't pay you what they're gonna pay you.
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So let's just do it here. But I'm
yeah.
not
That's what,
sure
like I said.
honestly.
That's why I went in there to look. And like I said, at this point, I think as time goes on and the promotion gets bigger, he actually like in the Torch, it'll actually have its own section. So maybe I'll be able to look up some little news tidbits or whatever for us. But yeah, at this point, Keller's just covering it like it's an indie. So there's not really, it's just like match results and when they're going to have another show.
If he's not really hurt, that's the only other thing I could see.
Hmm.
Is he was probably they were probably like, look, they're gonna pay us this amount of money. And Cornette and Bobby are close. So it'd probably be like, I can't pay you that fucking money.
Right.
So let's just do it here.
Well, and they did it here, and I think it was a fun tag team match for the championships.
It was. Um and I don't know if I said it before. Um well first off, there's a one point Martel Mantel says that Bobby he calls Bobby I can't talk today. I can't say anybody's name right. I said
You're like Bob
Dutch
Cottle.
yeah, I said Dutch Martel and then I just said Bobby Featon.
Bob Cottle. Bob. Hey, it fits the show because Bob Cottle's constantly fucking up people's names. Like
Well,
later on, he calls Joey Mags Joey Skaggs.
I know, but he's also 77 years
I
old at this
know, but
point.
it's just I don't know. I think it's funny. It's just maybe that should be
But
a gimmick here on the show. We fuck up people's names.
he
Anyway.
says that Bobby Fulton was too much of an eager beaver for jumping into the match tonight. And then I don't know if I said this last week. I can't remember. Um, I know Chad kind of shit on the guy, but like we were just talking about Jackie going over to Japan. I don't think Jackie Fulton was like terrible. I think Jackie Fulton was actually a pretty decent, solid
No,
worker in my
yeah.
opinion.
No, he was a good worker. Like I said, these guys the Fultons as a brother tag team are a good tag team. They just aren't as good as the Fantastics, so they probably shouldn't be called the Fantastics. You know what I mean? Like it's just the little
Yeah,
things.
I mean now they shouldn't be, but like when you're Bobby Fulton and Jackie Fulton, and you're going from like high school gym to high school gym,
Oh yeah. You want to
you
be
want to
able to
be
put
able to
that name on the
put a
marquee.
yeah. It's it said like Bobby Fulton, the Fantastics or whatever, and then like in little letters, probably say like Jackie Fulton or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, on that aspect you need to. But now that they're on TV and Cornette's trying to establish this thing, it's like, hey, eventually, like I said, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure they eventually just kind of start going with the Fultons. It might be, but it might be right around the brawl that we're gonna come up on here in a little bit. But yeah,
Well, the match winds up with why are my notes so jumbled here? Cornette gets involved with the racket on Bobby Fulton. Um, Jackie Fulton has a sleeper hold on Stan Lane. The referee is distracted, I believe, by what was going on with Bobby Fulton. So Jim Cornette comes in with the racket, uses that on Jackie Fulton, and Stan Lane pins Jackie Fulton, and the Heavenly Bodies are the first ever Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champions.
Yes, they are. Congratulations.
And Bobby Fulton then cracks Jim Cornette, a good one. But they wind up, getting Bobby down. Jackie gets the racket to the knee, and this is where we're setting it up. Figure 4 by Stan Lane. A bunch of baby faces hit the ring, and this is kind of the injury, quote unquote, injury angle for Jackie Fulton to get the Fantastics out of the Volunteer Slam. So you pretty much got the tag championship match out of the way here and got your way into having a different challenger for the Heavenly Bodies at the big show.
Yep. Like you said, it was a pretty good match. And I liked the fact that it was like, oh, this title match just like dusted up out of the blue, and yeah, it was. I thought it was a good angle, and then like it was like in the middle of the show. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I liked it.
Let's see here. So our next thing on the show, Bob Caudle interviews Doug Furnace, Knoxville native.
Yes, which is not his forte, not his thing.
No.
He's very bad at it. And I don't know why, but it's always funny seeing Doug when he had like, like a tight Jerry curl type thing going on. I don't know why, but it's like, no, nobody said anything to, like, nobody's gonna make fun of his tight Jerry curl and his bushy mustache. But yeah.
Whenever the world's strongest man gimmick, whenever anybody talks about the world's strongest man gimmick, I always think about I know I reference another podcast in this show all the time, but it's my favorite podcast ever. On the 605, Tom Robinson's imitation of Ted Arcidi, and it's just Ted Arcidi from that talk show going sour grapes. Anyway, sour grapes. Whenever I hear world's strongest man, I think of the Ted Arcidi impression. It's stupid, but anyway.
I don't know. It's like WCW tried it a couple times with Doug Furnace, and Cornette tried it here. WWF didn't really try it.
Nah.
But it's like, I don't know.
If it wouldn't have been 1996 and Vince wasn't like desperate for talent, Furnace and LaFon, no offense to them, but Furnace and LaFon never would have wound up on that roster.
It would have been for Jim Ross.
Yeah, well, that's what. But I'm just saying, like Vince was not at the position to be super picky either.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like nobody ever. I don't know if it's because nobody ever figured it out with him, or if he just didn't have the whatever for over here. But I mean, he always looked like $1 million, and he was he wasn't terrible in the ring. And at this point, his fucking legs are like the size of people. Like, I don't know. He's just fucking. It just never seemed to click for the guy, which is unfortunate. But on this one, he beats Joe Kazana.
Yes, quickly.
With a Hundakan Rana very quickly.
And by the way, just as a side note, we'll get back on topic, but I just wanted to say, because I mentioned him and I don't think we've ever talked about him on the show before. Worst LJN figure, the Ted Arcidi figure. Like, even when I was a kid, I was like, I can't even make this figure do a move. It's kind of like
is that the one where his arms are just down? Is that the one where his arms are just down at the side?
He's like in like an ape pose kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like he's like the equivalent, like he's the worst one of those, and then like the Rick Rude, Ric Flair, or the shape of the Hasbros, like that's the worst. Anyway.
Yeah. Ted Arcidi is involved in one of my favorite things ever, though, and it's not even like it's supposed to be a crazy thing, but it's like, oh, there's a lot of cocaine going on here. He was on a Piper's Pit.
Oh yeah.
And he interviews him, and like he ends up like bench pressing like a table as they're going off or whatever. And the owner of the Lonely Hearts is playing, Like he picks up the table and Piper's like, and he's like lifting the table. It's like, oh no. Like, oh my god, this is a bunch of cocaine right now.
Solid grapes. After the Doug Furnace match, Bob Caudle interviews Bob Armstrong and Hector Guerrero. Hector says he's, getting the doctor's clearance to come back to the ring after being pile-drived by Paul Orndorff, or pile-driven. Pile-drived is not appropriate there. Pile-driven by Orndorff. I said Bob Orndorff. We're both going to do it, apparently. Bob Orndorff. Paul Orndorff comes
Bob Orndorff.
Mr. Wonderful Bob Orndorff.
Bob Orndorff. Combine Bob Orton and Paul Orndorff. You get Bob Orndorff. A jack motherfucker with a big afro.
I'm Mr. Wonderful. He says that Hector Guerrero is not man enough to take him on, and these guys aren't man enough because they want to ban his pile driver. And then a guy who's definitely not man enough comes out. Yes. Tim Horner.
And he's protecting the injured Eddie the injured Hector Guerrero.
I'm not editing any of this, by the way.
I know. Usually I'm drunk when I do these things, and I've only had like half a beer. I think I'm better when I'm drunk. But speaking of Tim Horner, once a month, ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing an official award. We used to have the ham bone of the week or the ham bone of the month over on Reliving the Extreme, but that cannot happen anymore because we don't have Reliving the Extreme. So we're bringing in the Tim Horner Memorial Butthead of the Month Award.
Butthead.
We're gonna be
the Memorial Butthead of the Month here.
Yeah, the Tim Horner Memorial Butthead of the Month Award. It was announced
you can see that. You can see that award if you join our WrestleNet Radio Podcast Facebook group.
Yes, and breaking news is the award. It was announced. He's been officially given the award. It was Golden Boy Joe Kazana was our Butthead of the Month, our inaugural Butthead of the Month. So,
congratulations, Golden Boy.
I did it because we couldn't find Ben Jordan.
Well, Bob Caudle and Dutch Mantell then tell us about an upcoming Royal Rumble. They don't call it a Royal Rumble style match, but that's what it is.
A Mountain Mayhem Battle Royal
Mountain
for
Mayhem.
$5,000.
18-man Battle Royal for $5,000. That's coming up soon on Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Up next is the Dirty White Boy versus Ben Jordan. Dirty White Boy has no Ron Wright with him because Ron Wright is in the home or whatever, getting ready. He's in the
old Dutch Mantell. He's called the old folks home. He's in the old folks home. I don't know if people still call it that or not, or if that's completely like a thing around here that people call it. Because we're in the Ohio, Kentuckiana.
Yeah.
I mean, I've called it the old folks home before, you know. But I don't know. There's things that in this area of the country we're the only people that say it, you know.
Yeah.
Do different things.
But yeah, Ron Wright's he's in the old folks home awaiting. He's getting himself ready. He's exhausted. He's got to get himself ready for the upcoming Volunteer Slam.
Yeah.
But Dirty White Boy's okay without him because he's only facing Ben Jordan here. Dirty White Boy takes care pretty quickly of Ben Jordan. Bob Caudle with an interview with Dixie Dynamite on the Volunteer Slam.
I'll say it every week. We need to bring that gimmick back. I think there's money in that gimmick. I think people will be wearing Dixie Dynamite shirts all over the country.
There's a Brian Lee promo about his match upcoming with Buddy Landell at the Volunteer Slam. And then, oh God, I just made myself laugh because I looked at one of my next notes.
What's that?
Well, I'll get to it, but I just happened to look down a little further. Then the next matchup on the show is aforementioned Buddy Landell against Nitro Danny Davis.
Yeah, he used to be Nightmare, but now he's just Nitro.
Nitro. Don't get him confused with Nightmare. He's not the Nightmare anymore. He is
I ain't
Nitro
the Nightmare.
because
Just like a little bottle of nitroglycerin. Like,
yeah.
shake it up, it'll explode all over you. That's
Well,
why.
it didn't on this match because Buddy Landell pulls the tights and pins that fucker.
Is it? I know that Danny Davis trained a lot of people, and he still does, and he seems like he's a great guy, you know. But I don't know. He doesn't do it for me. He's just
Oh
kind of
no,
basic.
he's one of those guys that is a great mind business and a great trainer, but it does not translate to for me too. I'm the same way. Like I respect the guy, and he was obviously very good at what he did because he has nothing. Jim Cornette respects the shit out of him and everything. But yeah, he doesn't do anything for me, and like as far as like a personality or a wrestler goes. But
And it's not even the fact that he's like a little guy or he's whatever.
no,
You know what I mean? Because I didn't even really like when I saw him in like tag teams. He didn't really like. I know we made fun of Bill Dundee and shit, but I like Bill Dundee. You know what I mean? Like
mm-hmm.
Bill Dundee was an exciting wrestler, and he's a little guy. But yeah, Nitro Danny Davis is just kind of like
then
whatever.
on the opposite, one of my favorite things about the fact that we're doing a Smoky Mountain show is Buddy Landell. I love Buddy Landell.
Oh
Any
yeah.
excuse to watch Buddy Landell is great. And I that's why I had to. So after this match, after Landell
Oh,
beats,
I know what you're gonna talk about. It's this fucking promo,
yeah,
right?
he Landell's talking. Landell's talking about.
Can you not say it?
I can
You
can
can't
say
say
it.
it. I'll say
I'm
it.
gonna say it because I want to even try to do it in his voice. But Buddy Landell does an interview about Brian Lee at the Volunteer Slam. He says, "Man, I'm gonna rip off your head and dump in your neck."
And dump down your neck.
I love the way that he put it. I'm gonna dump in your neck.
Dump in your neck.
Fucking Budrow.
You could have said crap. You could have said poop.
Yeah.
But he said dump.
You know, or most people would say rip off your head and shit down your throat. He said
Well, you
dump in
can't
your
say
neck.
that on TV.
Well, I know, but you know what I mean. It's usually
Yeah.
down your throat. He said dump in your neck. Shit cracked me up.
And rip off your head and dump in your neck.
Yeah. It almost makes it worse. I don't know why, but could you just shit down my throat? Don't dump in my neck.
I wish that guy could have kept his head on straight, man.
Yeah, no shit. Oh.
Like if he could have kept his head on straight and left and made it in the WWE for like another, I don't know, year and a half, he would have been awesome in like that era. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he would have been the world champion or whatever, but he would have been fun in like the Attitude Era.
Right. Oh yeah, no sure. No, I mean no shit. Yeah, for definite.
No sure.
No sure. Is that
No
for true?
sure. Is that for true? Sounds
Will it
like
have
something
anything?
like a
Will
an
it
Eastern
have
Europe.
anything to do with your wrestling in general?
It sounded like something like a Scandinavian or a European person.
No sure.
No sure. Would you like some soda? No sure.
What does that mean? Yes
Is
or
that
no?
yes he wants one or no he doesn't? I don't know.
No meaning yes.
No means yes.
Well, after the great Buddy Landell promo, they do a thing about the Beckley. Cornette cuts a mean ass promo on the people of Beckley, but they're going to be letting, if you bring your kids to the Beckley, West Virginia show, they're going to let your kid in for 4 cents.
Isn't this the one where he says he's gonna turn them out? Like, didn't he say that?
Something like that.
The ladies, he's gonna turn out the ladies, even though they're fat and all this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, I just put down here, and actually, I didn't write it. I just put, man, Cornette's going hard on Beckley in this promo. He's really putting the screws to Beckley. After that, Bob Armstrong talks about how Jackie Fulton's still in the back being tended to by the physicians. But he says that it is official. The Heavenly Bodies are the Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champions. Bobby Fulton comes in. Armstrong says, Bobby, there's people that want to be your partner up at the show coming up at the Volunteer Slam. There's people volunteering to be your partner. And Bobby says he's not going to team with anybody but his brother Jackie. So he's going to turn all those people down.
Yes.
And I think that's pretty much how that show ended.
Yep.
The next episode, that episode was a good episode of the show.
Yes, it was.
I didn't really, other than, like I said, other than a little bit of my, and you, like you said, Aaron, it might have been a misspeak by Bob Armstrong. Other than a little bit of my puzzlement over what he said, the show itself was a really good episode of the show. The next one I have next to no notes on because there's next to no nothing original. I know there's some promos on here that I wrote a couple things down.
I have notes.
All right.
I'm a nerd when it comes to notes. Sorry.
It's okay because I'm not. So, but the show is kind of a recap show hyping the world title, Smoky Mountain title tournament for the upcoming Volunteer Slam, and it's hosted by Phil Rainey and Jim Cornette. And what I'll say here, and then you can have anything that you want to add to. Most of all the action that you see on the show is just action like a picked out match by each of the competitors in the tournament. Just we don't have to go through all those because they're all matches we've already seen. But there are some promos and stuff in here, so
there is. Like you said, we don't have to go over that. Hold on, sorry. My computer was doing something weird, but that was about to kick me off. But like you said, Phil Rainey and Jim Cornette open up the show outside of the Civic Coliseum, having the Volunteer Slam coming up, and they're in front of the marquee. And some of the things. This is how lame I am sometimes. I was like, I wonder what's coming up, like, because there's different activities. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Shown on this marquee before we even get to the Volunteer Slam. And this includes motivational speaker Zig Ziglar will be there. And his seminar is going from, I didn't write down the times for everything else, but his seminar is from 8:30 to 6:30. So he was going to have him in there for a long time.
I mean,
just taking people, just fleecing people of their money.
Dolph's dad there long before Dolph ever made it to the Coliseum.
Yes. And then after him, there's the band The Heartstrings. They'll be there. And then after that, the Jefferson County Prom. And after the Jefferson County Prom, Skid Row. So those are upcoming shows that are going to be in this.
Well, the Heartstrings should call themselves Tug and the Heartstrings. But anyway,
I don't know who the Heartstrings are. I don't remember them, but they were going to be playing there. So yeah. And hopefully they got those high school girls out of there before Skid Row showed up. But then they go over the history of the area and the Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Championship. And then Rainey and Cornette are inside the building discussing the history more, and they showed off the new Smoky Mountain Heavyweight title, which actually was I didn't think it was a bad looking belt, in my opinion.
No, Smoky Mountain had cool looking title belts.
Yeah. Then we get footage of how Dixie Dynamite and Dirty White Boy got to the tournament because they'll be facing each other, obviously, in the first round. And Dixie Dynamite cuts a promo on Ron Wright and Dirty White Boy. And then the Dirty White Boy cuts his promo and says that Ron Wright, he's spending just one more night, basically, in the old folks' home, getting ready to be by his side for the tournament. If you got
I,
anything on that, we'll
no,
move
well,
on.
I was just gonna say, like I, and I think I've mentioned it on the show before when we've discussed him on previous shows, maybe on when we're talking. I don't know, not maybe not necessarily on this show, but other on episodes of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. And maybe I have mentioned it on this show. I don't know, but just a little side note about you mentioned Dirty White Boy and his promo. Tony Anthony is one of the most underrated Southern style professional wrestlers of all time.
I totally agree.
Tony Anthony's
We
the
talked
fucking
about it.
shit.
Yeah, we talked about it on here, and we talked about it previously. And like, I think, I mean, he was in the WWF, obviously, but you know where I'm surprised he never had like any presence working for Paul.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I
I
think
don't know.
Tony Anthony would have worked in ECW. I don't
I
know.
don't. I
I
don't
just,
disagree.
I don't know. It's just once he went to the WWF, it just burned him out on being out of his home area or what. But you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So who knows? But um, then Bob Caudle, even though we're going to the pay per view, this is what I love about wrestling in this area. Even though we're having this pay per view coming up, they're still hyping Beckley. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we still got to make money, and money's in the house shows. So they hype Beckley, and they interview Brian Lee and Bullet Bob, and then we get action. Excuse me. We get highlights of Buddy Landell and in his promo. Um, he slams Brian Lee and Brian and for some reason the band Sawyer Brown. I don't know why he's bringing them up. And then um, somehow he incorporates Data Said Cell into it, like he's making fun of um, Duelist. But yeah, this promo is kind of all over the place.
Yeah, I
I mean,
didn't. I
like
didn't.
what's
I
going on
didn't.
with it.
That's what I wrote down. I said I can't really follow what Budrow's talking about here, but anyway.
But then Brian Lee, he cuts. We got a video, the Everybody Wants You video for Brian Lee, and then his promo on Buddy Landell, which is terrible. And I don't remember what this guy looked like, but or who he said he was. But all I wrote down was some old fuck with a giant head hypes volunteer slam.
It is actually it's funny because I don't have a lot of notes on this, but I did take notes on this segment. It's I don't know his name, but he is the director of the Coliseum. Because
Oh yeah,
I wrote down this guy looks like he probably smells like a pack of cigarettes and Old Spice.
yeah. I put that he had a giant head.
He did have a big head. You're right.
Okay, see, I wish I would have read my second note before my first note, so I would have remembered it was the like general manager of the building because um they come back and Cornette tries to get front row seats and the one lady says they're all sold out and she slams the door in his face and he's like, I ought to knock you out. Like like I don't know why it cracked me up so much, but he looked at that lady, he's like, I ought to knock you out. Just some old fat ticket lady. I thought it was funny. But anyway, we find out now that now the Heavenly Bodies are the tag team champions. Their first title defense is going to be against the Party Patrol, which is a complete
Yes.
step down from the Fantastics. And then we find out we see footage of Jackie Fulton. Someone said Jackie Faulty. Now Jackie's faulty because he's injured. And then Phil Rainey and Jim Cornette go over the injury of Jackie Fulton, and Cornette cuts a promo on the Party Patrol, who I think it's funny because they're not, obviously, but the Party Patrol looks like they could be Jerry Lawler's kids more than Jerry Lawler's actual kids did. Like, if it wasn't for, like, if it wasn't for what Brian looked like in the face, like when he smiled and shit, you know,
Mm-hmm.
he was in shape. And then Kevin Lawler was like a little guy. These guys are more built, like, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. They're more pudgy than built.
Yeah, and they're hairy and they got like that indescript like white guy hair. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. They look like double Lawlers. And then we get Robert Gibson footage of Robert Gibson action, and then we get a promo, and he did like a Boomhauer type pro because I didn't understand anything
Yeah.
Robert said here. I didn't catch none of it.
Robert's not a good promo anyway.
Yeah, but I can usually understand what he's saying. This one
Yeah.
is just total Boomhauer. Then we get Jimmy Golden in action, some action footage of Jimmy Golden, and then he cuts a promo, and he is wearing a wacky outfit, man. Like
So
he is wearing a leather fedora, a black and white checkered button-up dress shirt,
can
and
I
a skinny black like tie. It looks like it could have been a piano tie, but didn't have the keys on it. Yeah.
can
And the fedora's at a tilt. Like it's like,
can I
what is
tell you
going
what my
on?
can I tell you what my note is on Jimmy Golden's appearance here?
What's that?
Jimmy Golden cuts a promo dressed like a Eurythmic.
Or a fucking like European party man.
Yeah, he
Like
does. Yeah, he's dressed like he's in the Eurythmics. Is what.
he's like coming into a party, be like, "Who's ready for sexy time?" Man, his outfit is crazy. Um, and then Phil Rainey and Corny hype Mountain Mayhem. Um, they don't even mention Jimmy Golden's outfit, which I like. I know it's all taped and put together or whatever, but I think that would have been funny. They came back and were like, "What the hell is that?"
Sweet dreams are made of these. What is he wearing?
And then we get Paul Orndorff action, but no promo, which means he wasn't around. And whatever taping they did these promos. Then we see Tim Horner in action, if you can call it that, and Tim Horner is interviewed by Hector Guerrero because Hector's still kind of feuding with Paul Orndorff, but he can't wrestle him, so Horner's his proxy. And then he's got his fucking lightning bolt, and his little foam lightning bolt, and it's stupid because like he says like like the what's he called, like his little lightning bolts or whatever are gonna be there, and every time like he like does like the chart, like his lightning bolt is striking, he doesn't like pick it up over his head, and like it's all just like right down at his hip,
Yeah,
and it looks like he's
weird.
jacking off his lightning bolt.
It's weird. He's weird.
He's a
Weird,
fucking
man.
dweeb, man. It's a dweeb. Yeah, it's weird, man. He does that lightning bolt, freaks me out, man. It's weird. Then Jim Cornette and the Heavenly Bodies, they finish out the show with a promo on Beckley. like he's still shitting on Beckley, man. Cornette just wants to make that he wants to sell out that town.
Yes, he does. Getting that, putting asses in the seats.
Yeah.
The point is to make them want to come watch you get your ass kicked.
Yeah. And you make that fucking kid's ticket 4 cents. The parent can't be like, I can't afford to take you. Like, it's 4 cents. I got 4 cents.
It's 4 cents, Daddy.
4 cents, Daddy. Did you see a sale?
Well, we finally reached the big show.
Big shows.
The really big show.
Really big
It's going to be a
show.
really big show. May 22nd, 1992, Knoxville Civic Coliseum in Knoxville, Tennessee. Volunteer Slam 1992. And it is, of course, the Smoky Mountain Championship Tournament. Our hosts, Les Thatcher and Phil Rainey, are our announced team.
Yes. And the interview team is Dutch Mantel, and I believe they said his name is Mark Ashton.
Mark Aston, yes. And
Aston.
I put down here, I thought they should have flip-flopped. It would have been better if Phil Rainey would have been an interviewer and Dutch would have been on commentary with Les Thatcher, my opinion. But whatever. It's 30-some years ago, and nobody cares about my fucking opinion anyway.
Yeah. I would have rather seen Les Thatcher interviewing in Dutch and Phil Rainey, because guess what? I'm not a big fan of Les Thatcher as a commentator.
Well, all right, then.
That's my opinion. That's my opinion. I think he's particularly boring. But anyway.
Yeah, the opening match is the Dixie Dynamite versus Dirty White Boy first round match.
With Mr. Ron Wright.
Yes, with Mr. Ron Wright. And Dirty White Boy wins a pretty standard match here. The match was fine. Nothing, I didn't have any most that it was spectacular or anything, but it was a fine first round matchup.
It was one of the matches they clipped. There's a couple matches that get clipped on this show.
Yeah.
And this was one of them. Which I'm assuming is because the videotape, you know what I mean? And it probably costs a lot less to buy a bunch of 2-hour videotapes than it does to buy a bunch of,
Absolutely
3 or 4 hour tapes.
Keep it at under an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes. That's what you want to do. Yeah.
But like you said, it
can't be like WrestleMania 4 and have 2 tapes.
Yes, and the coolest wrestling video VHS box in the history of VHS boxes. Open that shit, Hulk Hogan popped up. That was that one, wasn't it?
Yep, that's that one.
Yeah.
You open it up and Hulk Hogan's big ass head pops up. Yeah.
But like you said, it's a pretty decent match. Dirty White Boy ends up getting the advantage around 10 minutes. I know that because the announcer announced 10 minutes, and he ends up hitting the Buck Snort Blaster and getting the pinfall. So he's advancing to the next round.
So Dirty White Boy defeats Dixie Dynamite, like Aaron said. Now the White Boy will advance to the next round. Dutch Mantel interviews, Buddy Landel on his upcoming match with Brian Lee. I guess he didn't say anything that really popped me because I just put Dutch interviews Landel on the Brian Lee match. So he obviously didn't say anything that popped me.
He said he was just going to take him out, basically. It was a pretty basic promo.
And then
they have
Landel versus Lee.
And then they have a pretty basic match.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of back and forth action. Brian Lee ends up missing a top rope knee, which allows Landel to go in for the figure 4. But Brian Lee rolls him over and ends up getting him in a roll up for the 1, 2, 3 with a small package. And Brian Lee is your winner.
Yeah, that was pretty much my notes on this match too. Like you said, good match, nothing to write home about. They're kind of, you're getting through the first round here of the tournament.
Yeah.
There was no need to interview Tim Horner, but they did it anyway.
Stupid Tim Horner.
Butthead
Tim Horner. One of the pioneering buttheads of professional wrestling. But I asked him when I asked AI to make that Butthead Award thing, I said, make the Tim Horner Memorial Butthead Award. In the back, it had like a little banner that said Wrestling Excellence. I was like, no way.
No way.
So I changed it.
That is not Tim Horner.
So I said, change excellence to ineptness. And that's what it did. So behind it's a banner that says Wrestling Ineptness.
But the next match on the show is Orndorff versus Horner. And this match, This match, I'm sorry, Paul Orndorff's one of my favorites of all time, and I love him to death. But this match itself did not need to be this fucking long unless it was going to be a time limit draw.
And it clipped it, by the way. Like the match was clipped.
God damn.
And
maybe it wasn't as long as I thought it was, and maybe it just felt like it was that fucking long.
Oh, it felt long.
I
But
felt like
they
this
played
match
a lot.
was never going to end.
They played a lot of it, and the reason I know it was clipped was because when they're rolling into the finish, like when Orndorff loses advantage, it comes right when the referee's going announces that 15 minutes has expired and there's 5 minutes left or whatever.
Okay.
So I'm like, I know this match has been going for a while, but it's like I have not been watching this match for 15 minutes. And the reason I know I hadn't watched it for 15 minutes is because I had it fast forwarded.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if I would have fast forwarded to this match because it was boring.
Yeah, I felt like I watched this match for 25 minutes. So
yeah. Well, at the 1 minute mark, Tim Horner gets tied up in the ropes, and Paul Orndorff uses this to his advantage.
I want to tell you my note about the finish. The finish is kind of like the finish. Essentially, folks, is the finish where the guy's pinning the one guy. The referee's not paying attention that the other guy has his foot in the ropes, right?
Yes.
Well, I put down here, I've never seen a match where the guy has his whole ass body in the ropes. Because like Horner doesn't just have his foot in the ropes. Like the ropes like past his ass. Like he is halfway out of the ring, and the referee still counts the 3 for Paul Orndorff. So I don't know if they screwed this up or what, but I've never seen somebody with half their body.
Yeah, that or the ref is like, Jesus Christ, this needs to end.
1, 2, 3, fuck it.
Fuck it.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, Tim Horner's ass was outside the ropes. That's how far outside the ropes he was when Orndorff pinned him.
So,
but
either way, Orndorff wins, thankfully. They only had a minute left, but the referee was like, this is a mercy killing. So he stops it. I think he was worried that Bob Armstrong was going to come out and make him restart the match.
1, 2, 3, let's get out of here.
We have to have it. We have to have a winner. We're like, oh my God. And again. So, but Orndorff is your winner. And they had that match go forever, which I didn't like, but I would have rather had seen this match go longer.
Yes. And I want to get to my note here real quick. Did you notice the ring announcer? When he was introducing Jimmy Golden, he said, "Hailing from Alabama, Montgomery," instead of Montgomery, Alabama.
I did not.
Yeah, he was like, "Hailing from Alabama, Montgomery."
Was it the one in the yellow shirt?
Yeah.
Or was this the yeah. I think that was a fan that got to do
well, that
some
would
of the
explain
announcing.
that.
Because if you notice, they jumped
things like that. Your brain works different than mine. Like you'll notice things I won't notice. Things like people mispronouncing things or misspelling things or something like that sticks out in my brain. Like if something's misspelled, it drives me fucking nuts.
Oh, it drives me nuts too. Don't get me wrong.
When people spell vendor, VENDER.
Oh, don't get me wrong. It makes me upset too.
But yeah, I don't know. I notice shit like
especially when it's like hanging up and they're trying to make it like official.
Yeah.
Like
vendor log.
At my old store, somebody hung up a thing saying that so I can't remember what it was, but something wasn't allowed out of this area, and they spelled it ALOUD.
Yep, I've seen that one before.
I said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I said, "Take that goddamn sign down right now."
Yep, I have definitely seen that show before.
I saw a sign up once that said "closed for Memorial Day." Yeah, just all kinds of shit. I saw
the one that there's a meme.
I saw using spelled A or US Using. Like when something's spelt with like that, like when I'm trying to tell you how it's spelt wrong, it takes my brain a minute to think about
Yeah.
how to spell it the
Yeah.
incorrect way. Like there was a sign up that when we still sold fish that somebody made that said, um, um, what was it like? No, it wasn't that. It was I can't remember what it was, but something was guaranteed, and they had spelled it guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Oh, I've seen the
That's
guaranteed before.
guaranteed. Like, don't spell it.
Guaranteed.
Don't spell it how you say it. But what were you? Which one were you gonna say? Sorry.
Oh, I remember a meme from back a few ago that had where the sign, it was like somebody had posted a sign outside like a, I don't know, McDonald's or something drive through, and it said, "We're gonna be charging 50 cents for every dipping sauce." And then underneath it they have a picture of 50 cent, like what? Because it said cent and not cents.
Yeah,
But
like I can't
anyway,
afford all that.
we're gonna charge 50 cents for dipping sauces.
Yeah, the allowed one makes me crazy. I'm like, oh my god. And
But
people
this
like
is,
hang that shit up like they're like,
yeah,
yeah, there you go.
authority, like they have authority.
Yeah,
You need to get authority of the fucking English language before you can be
yeah.
an authority figure. Well, the next match, like we said here, after we rambled there for a little bit, Jimmy Golden versus Robert Gibson, and I agree with Aaron. This should have been the long match. I would have loved to watch these guys wrestle for 15 minutes. Instead,
Yes.
they do tell a good story of the match with Robert Gibson's leg.
Yeah, but it's only about unless they. I don't even think they clipped this one, but if they did, we only got about 6 minutes of the action. And they jump started it as a wild brawl. Well, not a wild brawl, sorry, a back and forth action, and um, like you said, it's Jimmy Golden's working over Robert's leg. I know we talk about it a lot of times about Ricky Morton and what he was capable of doing and everything, but Robert, I mean, I'm not saying he was as good as Ricky when it came to it, but it's pretty damn close in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're both phenomenal talents. That's why they're one of the greatest tag teams of all time. You put two phenomenal talents together, and you're going to get a great fucking tag team.
Yeah.
Gibson kind of gets a bulldog out of nowhere on this one for the victory.
Well, it's actually a pretty cool finish because um, Gibson ducks a clothesline, then he ducks another clothesline, and Golden's character is like selling that he's somewhat kind of dizzy because he's hitting these whirly bird clotheslines, and he gets all disoriented because it's not like, oh, he missed one and they run the ropes a little bit. It's like too quick, like boom, boom, like what the fuck, where'd this guy go? And then he hits the bulldog on him and pins him. So like I said, it's not a long match, but it's actually out of excuse me, all the matches we've had so far, it's the one I enjoyed the most.
And after that match,
I do like both these guys. So
our announcers run down who's going to be in the semifinals of the tournament, and then we roll into the next matchup, which I really enjoy this match. It's funny because anyway, there's a running thing throughout this event, and then I will get to the end. But the match is the Dirty White Boy versus Brian Lee, and of course Ron Wright's out there. And there are a few notes I hear I want to make note of just real quick. Number one, say what you want about him, but at this time in this promotion, this crowd is really into Brian Lee. He's over like Rover.
it's that last era. It's that last era. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And then my other note is, speaking of Brian Lee and Tony Anthony, Brian Lee and Tony Anthony have, and I can see why, you can see during this why Jim Cornette moved into that being a long feud, because these two guys have a lot really good fucking chemistry together.
Yeah. It's the only, I would say it's probably the only time Brian Lee's like by himself that I enjoy him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because like he's gonna move in later on with Candido and stuff, and he worked in that role. But like being like I don't mind him as like an enforcer for the most part, but yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
and and I think part of the reason of being able to get the guy over is like this is like the last era of being able to like get an audience to be like, this is our guy. You know what I mean?
Right.
But,
Yes. This is
um,
a good
like
Southern style wrestling match. I like this match.
yes. At one point, I like the fact that Ron Wright yells at um, or not yells at, but he rolls over to the commentating desk when um, Dirty White Boy has the advantage, and he says how upset he is. He's like, I'm just so upset that I can't stand up and applaud the Dirty White Boy. I wish I could just stand up. Like he's like still making it all about him.
Send your cards and letters. Yeah.
Yes, I feel bad for me. He wishes he could stand up and applaud him, but he can't because he's just a crippled old man.
He's
And
gold,
then,
Jerry. He's gold.
yes, yes,
Um, but yeah, this, like I said, good match. They bloody up Brian Lee during this match. Excuse me. I don't have any other specific notes other than the finish. So unless you had another,
nope. I was gonna put the white boy missed the diving headbutt, and I like it when I don't know why it makes me laugh when like bigger guys like that try some crazy shit off the top rope and it just backfires on
it
them.
backfires. Yes.
Because Tony's not a little guy, you know what I mean? Like he's a
Mm-hmm.
big dude, and he's going for broke with that diving headbutt, and he just crashes and
Yeah.
burns.
Beats
And
himself pretty much.
yes, and Brian Lee rolls over and pins him to advance.
And the Dirty White Boy waylays Brian Lee with the chair after the match.
Yes.
Like I said, I enjoyed this match. These two guys have good chemistry. I actually am looking forward to. I haven't watched Smoky Mountain like. I mean, every once in a while I might watch an event or something, but I haven't watched Smoky Mountain chronologically in probably at least a decade. So I'm looking forward to watching this feud unfold again. Um, Dutch Mantel then does an interview with the Dirty White Boy in the back, pretty much saying what we just said. You know, he's saying, "Hey, I beat myself." Brian Lee's the fact that he won that match is a fluke. Um, he's nothing happening, no good, lousy. You know, all
Horse
of all that.
head.
So and so
Yeah. I like the way he keeps calling him horse head,
horse
all that
head.
other shit. Yeah. Yes.
So the next matchup here in the tournament is Robert Gibson versus Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, and once again, the story of the match is the leg of Gibson.
Yes. So another short match, which this one should be,
Mm-hmm.
as it was designed to be. Like you said, they're selling the leg. Orndorff ends up clipping Gibson's knee and rolling him up for the 1, 2, 3. That's basically what there is to that match.
Um,
So
yes, Dutch Mantel. After that, interviews the Heavenly Bodies, talking about the fact that they're facing the Riches, the Party Patrol, here tonight in lieu of the Fantastics, which, you know, like Aaron said, kind of alluded to earlier. What a
if you haven't got
letdown.
it, if you haven't got my cadence and demeanor when the Party Patrol gets brought up, they are like the Tim Horner of tag team. Like I don't like these guys at all. They do nothing for me. They when they come out, they don't look to me like they're a party. Like I don't know. They just suck, and they're just
You know, there's sometimes
bland,
too. There's sometimes too where
nondescript whatevers. But go ahead,
there's some,
sorry.
there's sometimes too when somebody can fit into a certain promotion or a certain thing, and it's just kind of their jam, and then outside of it they're no good. I don't know how that works. I don't know why that happens, because like if you ever watch any late 80s Continental from Alabama. Johnny Rich isn't too bad in that promotion. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this tag team either.
Yeah, their butt.
The match is what it is. We get a referee distraction. Bruce Pritchard.
There's the
Bruce Pritchard. Tom Pritchard.
I do like the fact that they get, like, at first the party patrol does take advantage and their bodies run away and take a powder and they group and then they come back and then it turns into like, I don't know, they did a thing where it's like, let's do, how do I say it, like, they extended the time of this match and what they were probably capable of doing with these guys by doing old school house show stalling tactics.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Did they ever even allude to what Tom Pritchard, what foreign object he kicked one of the Riches with for Stan Lane to get the pin? I know they said he kicked.
It was a chain.
Oh, was it a chain? Okay, I guess
maybe they didn't say what it. They didn't say what it was, but Stan Lane basically wraps a chain around his foot and he kicks the one that's not Johnny.
Tommy, no.
Davey. Yeah,
it's
Davey Richards. I put Davey Richards. Like, I wrote Davey Richards. It's not Davey Richards. It's Davey Rich.
Davey Richards. All right. Completely different guy.
Yes. This Davey Richards is good. But he kicks Davey Rich in the head or in the face with the chain on his boot. And the Heavenly Bodies are still your what?
I'm just looking at my next note. Dutch Mantel pops me.
And the only other, and I don't know why it was, I don't know why I wrote it at the point, because I think I answered my own question, or I think I know the answer to my own question. I just wanted to get somebody else's thoughts. Do you think at this point, because he originally wanted Brad, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He wanted Brad to be his guy. That's who he had envisioned in Smoky Mountain, was Brad Armstrong, being the Brian Lee of it, you know?
Right.
But when he couldn't get Brad, he got Brian Lee, which is fine, whatever. But do you think that when he couldn't get his original guy that he wanted, that at this point, do you think he thinks in his mind the Smoky Mountain Tag Team Championship is more important than the World or the Heavyweight Championship?
Well, maybe. And also, I think another one of the reasons that he focuses a lot on the tag titles, at least at this point, is also, well, I'm going to put the belts on the guys that I manage, and I'm the promoter, and they're the guys that I manage, so I know we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot. I can put, Cornette knows whoever he's with and whatever he's doing, he can put the main focus on that if he needs to, because he's not going anywhere unless the doors are shut,
Yeah.
But yeah, that could have been a possibility too. Like, I don't know if I have the confidence. I know I want to put the belt on this guy and see what happens, but I don't know if I have the confidence in him yet. And then I think he quickly finds out that maybe it's better he has a heel champion, and that man is Tony Anthony. But anyway, I put down here after the match, I love the fact that Dutch Mantel, he interviews the Heavenly Bodies, and he says that they just dusted the party patrol. I fucking loved that. I'm like, that's awesome. You dusted them. I don't know why I thought that was so cool. He was like, I'm here with the Heavenly Bodies, and they just dusted the party patrol.
It's just Dutch Mantel's funny, man.
Yeah. He said,
I don't always like it.
Those motherfuckers.
I don't always enjoy his podcast,
I've never listened to his podcast, but
I watch clips and stuff. I'm like, whatever. But as a commentator, like, that dude was funny, man. Like, he'd just say some off the wall shit. Like, he said Brian Lee was in prison because he did like a school shooting. Like, what the fuck?
All right. So we're on to the championship match here. Originally, it doesn't look like there's going to be a championship match. Bob Armstrong just awards Paul Orndorff the title, says that Brian Lee's not going to be able to wrestle in this match because of the shit earlier with the chair with Dirty White Boy. But they do the valiant baby face thing here, and Brian Lee comes out and he wants to fight Mr. Wonderful.
Yes.
And
Which Bob Armstrong says, like, here's your new Smoky Mountain heavyweight champion, Paul Orndorff, and like he gives him the belt, but then Armstrong or Lee comes out and Dutch kind of does what you did earlier, where you were talking about like, well, he just said it was unofficial, but it's an official. Like Dutch is like, well, isn't Paul Orndorff technically the world champion now? Like he awarded him
yeah,
the belt. Like I don't know, but yeah,
puzzling.
yes. And this is going to be one of the things where you talked about like that being a kind of being starting out as a clusterfuck or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think this thing's kind of a clusterfuck.
They are.
It,
They're trying to. They're trying to tell. It's a thing of many stories. They're trying to start up what's going to be happening after the show, after going forward during the match, instead of having a straight up match between Orndorff and Brian Lee.
yeah, I mean, I know what they're trying to do. I'm just saying
But
it's a
you're right,
fucking
it does kind of fall apart. um because all right, here we go. Dirty White Boy comes out during the match. The match, it's not too long. It's fine. Orndorff and Lee have what they do have is a one-on-one thing is fine, but Dirty White Boy throws some knucks to Paul Orndorff. I did like. I don't know if they really like. It looked like that part where Paul Orndorff backed into Brian Lee and their heads cracked together. Almost looked like an accident. Did you notice that?
yeah.
Like their
I
heads
think
cracked
just Paul
together.
being
Their heads cracked together pretty fucking hard. I was like, "Oh shit." um. So
yeah. Like
essentially, oh, go ahead, Aaron.
I was just gonna say that I also like the fact that White Boy was getting involved, but he ended up getting taken out before he could do something, But like when he got involved, like he dropped the object and Orndorff had to like get it. Like it wasn't like I don't want to say it. I liked the fact that it was because at this point I think it's safe to say that Orndorff and White Boy are the two top like singles heels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But in this situation, it wasn't like they were working together. You know
right.
what I mean? Like, I don't think White Boy was like, I'm gonna go out. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I'm not going out here to
Like,
help Orndorff. I'm going out here to screw Lee.
yeah, which doesn't work, and he ends up dropping the Nux. Like, he didn't throw Orndorff the Nux. Like, it backfired on him, and he dropped him, and then that's when Orndorff was able to pick him up. And he tries to use them on Brian Lee, which Bob Armstrong sees, and he DQs Paul Orndorff and awards the Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Championship to Brian Lee. And I
So the
thought
first
this was
champion
like
of the first champion of Smoky Mountain Wrestling is crowned on a disqualification.
yeah, I thought it was kind of like a wet fart ending. I'm like, whatever.
Orndorff and Dirty White Boy attack Brian Lee after the match, and then Bob Armstrong helps thwart the heels.
I mean, I get it because maybe Paul doesn't stick around too much longer. I don't think. I think he's
Doesn't he have
WCW bound pretty quick.
doesn't he have a program with Ronnie Garvin coming up in
Yeah,
Smoky Mountain?
yeah. So I mean, I get it where it's like, we're gonna keep Paul for a little bit at least. But so we don't want to job him out. But it's like if you don't want to job him out, don't have him in the fucking finals. You know what I
Right.
mean? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. But anyway, I thought the ending of the show was pretty anticlimactic.
Well, Dutch Mantel interviews Orndorff, and then he interviews Brian Lee, and I had to put down here, of course, the last thing the last note that I have of the show, where he had a pretty good outing on this night. I was okay. I was kind of a fan of Brian Lee on this evening, but then when he talks
He has to cut
about
a promo.
when he talks about the Dirty White Boy and Paul Orndorff, he screws up what he's trying to say, and instead of saying for Dirty White Boy and Paul Orndorff, it's time to pay the piper, he says it's time to pay the fiddler.
Yeah. It's time to pay the fiddler. And fucking Mosefus was like, I mean, I'll take a payday.
Shit. So that's Volunteer Slam 92. Good show. I enjoyed that show.
I did too.
Most
other
of it.
Other than the clunk ass finish at the end, it was okay. I just didn't like the way it ended.
And we are going to wrap it up with the episode of Smoky Mountain Wrestling from May 23rd, 1992, which is clearly, obviously recorded before Volunteer Slam.
Yes.
And it's going to be an easy show to talk about because it is pretty much a one-match show, obviously, but the match is the Battle Royal. It is the 18-man, what is it, Mountain... God damn it.
Mountain Mayhem.
Mountain Mayhem. The Man Mountain Rock Battle Royal.
No, I know I have more notes than you, but like I have the promos, not word for word promos, but like promos and then my opinion of it in brackets or whatever they talk about. And then the order of entry, eliminations, and who eliminated them. I can't even eliminated them. I did a little bit of pausing and playing on this fucking episode. But anyway.
what I have, no, it's fine. What I have is I have written down who cut promos. And then obviously I didn't write down the order of entry or order of elimination, but I wrote down key things that I wanted to discuss about the Battle Royal. Okay. So, but yes, they throw 2 promos for the participants in the Battle Royal, and I will mention them, and then we'll see if you have any Dirty White Boy promo.
He is fighting for Ron Wright. He's going to give Ron Wright his $5,000 so he can now buy Ron Wright an iron lung.
An iron lung, man.
It's gotten that bad. He needs an iron lung. He now has polio.
Oh, this is where I have the note. Jimmy Golden, dressed like a Eurythmic, cuts a promo.
So it's $5,000.
He's in that same outfit that he was in on the prior episode of the show.
Yes. But $5,000 to him, man, is just pocket change. He says pocket change.
Then Tim Horner cuts a promo with his stupid lightning bolt.
Yes, it just says Tim Horner, dumbass.
Butthead.
Buddy
Landell cuts a promo.
His strategy is to go outside of the arena, run around in the heat, roll around in the dirt, not take a shower, and stink himself up, as he says. So nobody's willing to even come close to him. And he'll just watch everybody eliminate each other, and then he'll dump out the last guy.
The Heavenly Bodies promo.
They need $5,000 because all the women in the area are fat, and they need to fly in skinny whores for themselves, basically.
Brian Lee's here, and nobody's paid the fiddler yet.
Yes, or gave him his belt, apparently. And he's looking for the Dirty White Boy in this tournament, or in this Battle Royal.
Dixie Dynamite.
Like you almost messed it up when you said like Mountain whatever. Mm-hmm. Dixie Dynamite calls it Mayhem Madness. Like, not even
Mayhem.
close. Mayhem Madness.
So he doesn't even have the mountain in there.
He didn't even put the mountain in it. So imagine how bad the first 7 times he cut a promo were. Where they settled, the Cornette was just like, fuck it. Mayhem
Whatever
Madness.
you want to
Close
fucking
enough.
call it.
Close enough.
Well, he's Nitro, not the Nightmare. He's going to explode in this Battle Royal, Danny Davis.
Yes. Yeah, it just says, don't call him Nitro. He's small, but he'll explode in your face.
Jim Barnett's like, oh, my boy.
My boy.
Rip Rogers, I put down Rip Rogers cuts a promo with a newspaper. They're talking
He looks like he looks like a needy man that needs $3 outside of a 7-Eleven. And you tell him, I don't have that money. And then like he looks in on you as you're buying like
a hot dog or something, yeah.
A hot dog and some other useless shit.
And then the guy that you really want people electrified with the last promo, if you really want people to be electrified going into this thing, the guy you put on last, Doug Furnace.
Yeah. And it's just basic.
It's like, I'm here, I'm queer, get used to it. So after the
I'm
promos,
just telling you, man, at this point in his career, his fucking legs were as wide as me.
Oh yeah, no shit. Yeah, he's a
I'm just saying.
Built motherfucker.
Yeah.
After those promos, they recap. They pretty much recap the stuff that happened with the Heavenly Bodies and the Fantastics, about Jackie Fulton's injury, and then we go into the Mountain Mayhem Battle Royal. And I do have the first 2 participants are Dixie Dynamite and Rip Rogers.
Yes. They did claim that it was 18 guys, but it's actually only 16. So I don't know. But they said it was an 18-man Mountain Mayhem, but it was only 16 guys in it. But yeah, Dixie Dynamite and Rip Rogers, they open it up, and I can go down the order of elimination if you want, and then I can start going over the order of entry if you want, and then I can start going down the order of elimination, and you can. Okay. So, like Nate said, number 1, Dixie Dynamite. Number 2, Rip Rogers. Third in.
Oh, by the way, folks, just as a side note, if you haven't watched it, if you're not watching along with us, they didn't come down the aisle when they were introduced. They just have everybody sitting around the ring like they're at a buffet. But anyway.
Yeah. Ben Jordan is Dr. Tom is number 3. Ben Jordan, number 4. Jumpin' Joey Maggs is number 5. Then we get Stan Lane in at 6. 7, Dirty White Boy. 8, Robert Gibson. 9, Nature Boy Buddy Landell. 10 is Brian Lee. Then we get Jimmy Golden in at 11. Then Joe Kazana, Butthead of the Month, in at 12. Doug Furnace in at 13. Mr. Wonderful in at 14. Tim Horner in at 15. And then the final entrant is Danny Davis. Nitro Danny Davis. Then we move over into order of elimination, and this is where, if we have any notes, Ben Jordan is eliminated by Dr. Tom Pritchard, which I'm happy about, because Ben Jordan, until he gets eliminated, every time he hits a big move on a guy, he goes for a fucking pinfall.
And it's a battle royal, idiot.
Yeah. Like, that's why I almost made him Butthead of the Month. But he's so bad I couldn't find a good picture of him on fucking Google searches. So anyway, he's eliminated by Dr. Tom. And then Stan Lane and Tom Pritchard are doing their thing. But Bobby Fulton comes out, and he's got what looks like a piece of wood, and he gets involved illegally and attacks Stan Lane and Tom Pritchard, and they end up running away. But even though they didn't jump over the top rope, they're eliminated because the referee decides to count them out of the match.
Which, to his credit, Dutch Mantel protests. Obviously,
Yes.
to no avail. The decision's been made. Shut up, Dutch. don't try to add logic to an illogical situation. But yes, Lane and Pritchard are gone.
And then Jumpin' Joey Maggs, he's eliminated by Rip Rogers.
I don't know exactly when it happened in here, but my next note from during the Battle Royal was, once again, as we're building Brian Lee to be the big baby face of the company, when he does enter this thing, there's about probably a minute where they do a good job of everybody feeding for him when he comes in. So anyway.
Dixie Dynamite is then eliminated by Buddy Landell. Then the Hustler Riff Rogers is eliminated by Brian Lee. Joe Kazana is eliminated by Doug Furness. Jimmy Golden is eliminated by Tim Horner. Robert Gibson is eliminated by Paul Orndorff.
So you mentioned Robert Gibson. I'll say this. I don't know if you thought, I don't know why I thought it was funny, but during this Battle Royal, the little gimmick that Gibson and Dirty White Boy are playing up is they keep biting each other. Like, and then like the announcers even played up like Kyle's like, oh, look at that Gibson. He is biting, or no, Dirty White Boy is biting Robert Gibson. And then Dutch Mantel be like, well, Gibson bit him first. So it's kind of a thing. I don't know. There's Gibson and Dirty White Boy are playing up this gimmick during this match where they're biting each other. But anyway.
All right. And then the Dirty White Boy is eliminated by Buddy Landell. And then Doug Furness is eliminated by Buddy Landell. I don't know why I wrote that name down. Who was that person?
What?
For some reason, I wrote Barry Horowitz, and he wasn't even in it.
Yes, he was. He was the last entrant.
Oh, well, I forgot to write his name down as the last entrant then.
Yeah, I distinctly remember him being the last entrant.
Okay. I wrote down that Danny was the last one. So anyway, sorry, I missed the name. Barry Horowitz is eliminated by Brian Lee. I must have been out pooping or something.
Hey, it happens to me. I'll be like, you'll sometimes we'll be discussing something, and you'll say like this happened or that happened. I'm like, ooh, I don't remember that. I must have went to poo or something.
I don't know why I missed Barry Horowitz being in this thing, but so all right. Well, Brian Lee eliminate. We're rolling into the finish here. Earlier in the match, Landell had been eliminated, but the referee hadn't seen it. Thank Stone Cold Steve Austin in 1997. If that makes you guys know what's going on here. But Horowitz is eliminated by Brian Lee, and then Brian Lee ends up getting grabbed by the Dirty White Boy, and Paul Orndorff ends up eliminating Barry Horowitz thing threw me. Yeah, the Barry Horowitz thing threw me off. Anyway, Landell was eliminated by mistake. The referee didn't, or not by mistake, but the referee didn't see it. And then Paul Orndorff winds up getting. That's right. Brian Lee eliminates Paul Orndorff, and then or is eliminated by Paul Orndorff with help from the Dirty White Boy. And then Paul Orndorff is dumped out by Tim Horner, which Tim Horner ends up thinking he won the match, not knowing that Landell was hiding in the shadows, and he returns to dump over Tim Horner and win the $5,000.
What I thought was funny was that
Sorry, I fucked up the finish.
What I thought was funny was that Buddy Landell did not throw the powder in the eyes of Tim Horner when they were the two last men in the match. Like, for some reason during this match, Buddy Landell decided, fuck that Tim Horner. I'm throwing powder in his face.
Yeah, like midway through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. The battle royal is going on, then you just see poof, like the powder. It's just like I don't know.
And what I did like about it too, what I thought is funny is like since it wasn't at the end, and it wasn't just those guys. Like he throws the powder, and you see like a couple of these wrestlers like look over.
Yeah, like what the
You
fuck's
know what I
going
mean?
on over
Like what
there?
the
Yeah,
fuck? Yeah, like they're fighting and it's like powder, and like guys are like, what the fuck? And then I like thinking about professional wrestling being like this is these guys' jobs, you know?
yeah,
If it was real, it's like where they go to work. So then I like to like think about it in like real life jobs. Like I'm
yeah.
just walking down the hallway at work, and all of a sudden some other employee comes up to another employee, just throws powder in his face. Like
Fuck
I
Derek.
should have been associate of the month. He just powders him. So I gotta be like, hey, and like me and the other managers run up and pull these guys apart.
Does anybody know what the disciplinary code is for powder in the face?
I think it's a yellow.
Up to and including termination.
Yeah. Somebody parked in their spot, so they hit him with a lounge chair, a break room chair. Yeah. It's fun
Well,
stuff.
after the battle royal, after Landell gets the victory, Bob Armstrong gets confronted at the announce desk by Tim Horner, who's of course still got the powder on his face. Looks like he's been doing the booger sugar. So lo and behold, what Barb once again I called him Barb Armstrong. Lo and behold, what Bob Armstrong is going to do for Tim Horner is he is going to make Buddy Landell. I like how Buddy Landell doesn't show up. By the way, like he's boots
He got that check and left.
He's boots get out of there with his check. But anyway, he says he's going to make Buddy Landell bring that check for $5,000.
He's like, I need this $5,000. I just threw away $500 worth of cocaine. Jesus Christ!
I'll dump in your neck, man.
I'm dumping your net.
But next week on Smoky Mountain Wrestling, we're going to have the rematch. He's going to give Tim Horner a one-on-one match with the $5,000 on the line.
Yes.
And overall,
if I would have been Tim Horner, I'd have been like, so this is the one time you're going to stick with something official?
right.
Like 2 weeks ago, you just let these guys have an unofficial title match. And you just let this guy win the belt by disqualification. But anyway,
I would say overall, the month of May is a very successful month for Smoky Mountain Wrestling. We've got our champions crowned. We're starting to see new rivalries form. The first, obviously, like we talked about before, the first couple of months, you're getting your feet. You're getting your feet under you. You're figuring out who's who and what's what, and who's going to be your bigger stars and who you need to push and all that. And now after the Volunteer Slam, you got your champions crowned. You start getting some rivalries established. Now we're going to hit the ground run, or we're going to get rolling here.
Yes. And yeah, I know like it was filmed obviously before the Volunteer Slam, but I actually did enjoy Mountain Mayhem. I hope they do another one. I don't remember if they do, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a little silly that they were all sitting outside the ring, but I get it. So, but yeah. And I thought Volunteer Slam, like I said, it was a decent show. It wasn't like, set the world on fire type whatever, but it was decent. And like I said, like you said, now they've established these are the guys we got. This is what we're going with, and going forward, it should be even more exciting.
Well, that being said, we will wrap it up here for Pod on the Mountain, May 1992. Of course, we'll see you all next month in June for the next installment, the month of June, of course, of 1992. Check us out on YouTube, the WrestleNet Radio Podcast Network on YouTube. Join the Facebook group. Look up the WrestleNet Radio Podcast Network on Facebook and click to join, and we will let you join our club. That's about all I got for this episode. Aaron, any parting words for our listeners?
Thanks for listening, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, and we'll see you again all next month here on Pod on the Mountain, June 1992, coming at you. Have a great month.